Tweet, tweet. Hello.
Okay. Well, the live audience doesn't intimidate you, right?
Not a bit.
Okay.
I feel right at home, actually. It's the one thing I miss from the Daily Show. You know, every now and then somebody will say, do you miss the show? No, I don't miss the show. What I miss is the people, is the camaraderie. Because what I did every day is have my own after show with the audience. So I would talk to the audience probably half an hour to 40 minutes after every show, starting 10 years in. Because at first I did autographs every day, and I'd stand there by road and I'd do the autographs and never look up, trying to get through 350.
Right.
And then one day I decided, oh gee, I don't want to do that anymore, but what do I really want to do? I want to talk to this audience. I want to find out who they are, where they come from. So I started like talking to them 10 years in, and that became my favorite part of the day.
Wow.
Yeah. It was my own personal focus group. It's the reason why we were #1 for 25 years, because I used the information that I gathered every day from people who were the greatest resource. They were the people who were viewers, who had taken the time to come with their aunts and daughters and cousins and a few husbands who would be like, well, I came to Oprah.
So
that's going to be good for at least 2 months. Yeah, worth of something.
That show was on for 25 years
Yeah.
in Chicago, and when you did it, you won, I think, almost 50 Emmy Awards, and it was voted one of the best TV shows in the history of TV. So you ended it, though, after 25 years to do other things, and we'll talk about that, but you no regrets about ending that show.
No regrets whatsoever. You know, I didn't want to be punch drunk in the ring, still trying to come up with what is the next thing, because over the years, we became our own greatest competition. So when I first started, went national in 1986, every time there'd be another talk show, I'd be, oh, Geraldo Rivera, oh, what are we gonna do? And then I realized a couple of years in that you run your own race better than anybody. If you take the time to see what everybody else is doing, you lose your ground. And that I could be a better me than I could be anybody else, and so no need of trying to compare myself to other people. So once I got that, we hit our own rhythm, and also once I discovered that it wasn't just a show, but that it was a platform in which to speak to the world. And then, that was about '89, when I thought, okay, what do you want to say to the world? How do you want to be used and not have the TV use you, but how do I want to use it?
What drives you to keep working so hard? You could, you know, you and I are in the 60s category. And so when you're in your 60s, you know you've lived more than you're going to live, realistically. So when you realize you've lived more than you're going to live, you can say, why not relax a little bit? Why not just ease up? Why have you decided to even work harder than you did before? Because
I think, David, that everybody, you know, the thing that worked for me all these years, whether it was the magazine, or which I still have, or whether it was the show, I understood that there's a common denominator in the human experience. And I want the same thing you want, which is the same thing you want and you want. What we all want is to be able to live out the truest, highest expression of ourselves as a human being. That doesn't end until you take your last breath. What is the truest, highest vision that you hold for yourself? No matter where you are in your life, there's always the next level. There's always the next level to the last breath. So I feel that I always knew that I would be done with the show when I felt like, oh, I've said as much as I could say here on this platform. And then how will I be used? If there were a theme song to my life, Amazing Grace would be one of them, and Keep on Using Me Till You Use Me Up would be another one. You know that Bill Withers song? Yes. So I feel that until you have used your value as a human being, you're not done.